ChatGPT does not know how to schedule a post in Vista Social. But then something really cool happens is that within Claude, you can actually connect your Gmail, your Vista Social, your Honeybook, your anything.
Every agency, every brand that are successful right now is that they're automating a lot more than everybody else.
In today's world, there are so many more sort of opportunities to automate, and the more successful brands and agencies are the ones that have identified those opportunities.
But one of the common things I'm seeing with every agency, every brand that are successful right now is that they're automating a lot more than everybody else, whether it's reports, DMs, responding to emails. If they're successful, they're outdoing their competition, it's because they're automating more. I think today I'd love to talk about what are some of those things and why is it so important for a brand or an agency to start automating the things that they've been doing manually the whole time?
Yeah, I think we've been always looking to automate everything about our operations, right? Whether it's the way we analyze data, the way we onboard customers, the way we handle the day-to-day. Every company uses tools, and presumably that's automation, right? Mm-hmm. So you already sort of automated the way you sort of handle your operations. But I think in today's world, there are so many more sort of opportunities to automate, and the more successful brands and agencies are the ones that have identified those opportunities. And these may not be large items, but they may be super effective. So the example would be, say, in the social space, to automate engagement. Somebody DMs you a message or leaves a comment on your post, and you turn that into an engaged follower by replying back with a DM, by following that person. So brands that have effectively managed to do that automatically are way more effective at growing their brands than brands that have not. And that's just sort of like a tiny example. I think the AI makes that even more exciting because now your opportunities to sort of automate are that much faster, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's client onboarding, responding to proposals, whether it's just responding to emails, whether it's planning content, whether it's coming up with ideas. The ways we can automate our sort of processes will define how much advantage we have with the competition.
There's two examples like top of mind for me because when we're talking about DM automations or even client onboarding, just the studio here. So from the first time, months ago when we started working with Drew and his team to now, this time when I booked, and I don't know if they've changed systems lately, I got an email, and in the email it's like, hey, we're excited to see you here. Here's a Google Drive we've created just for you. Drop your logo, and we'll throw it up on the screen for you when you get here. This is also the Google Drive that we're gonna put all your footage, all of that stuff. And when we talk about automation, like it's added that not just level of personalization, but the experience for us as their customer to be able to say like, wow, I no longer have to show up with like a flash drive, or I'm gonna get there with my laptop and have to figure out where my logo is. Like everything is more proactive, and it kind of buttons up that customer experience. Another one that I thought was so weird because I never thought I would ever see this. A pizza chain next to where I live in West Palm, they're giving out discounts. Try our text to order for 15% off. So I'm like, okay, it's probably gonna get it wrong. Hey, can I get a large pizza with, people are gonna hate me for this, with pepperoni and pineapple? And it just, okay, you want a large, this is how much it'll be. Click this button to finalize your order, right? And the link in the text message takes me to my shopping cart that has everything that I've asked for. And obviously, me being the person I am, I go on their website and find out the service that they use, and it's purely AI. They look at the motive, they look at the menu, but that level of automation is so much different. I'm not making a phone call. I'm not having to go on a website, look for a menu, customize things into a shopping cart. The amount of time that I've saved now as a consumer, that level of efficiency matches the level of efficiency that they have as a company. Because, right, like they don't have someone there on the phone at that point.
Yeah, and I think to go back to the example of the welcome email, some may think that does not necessarily sound like an overly original automation. Sure. Like I feel like, autoresponders, like welcome emails have been out there for a while, right? So what is the difference between, like, let's say, an old school welcome email, thank you for registering, here's our address, versus sort of like the new age automated AI-inspired automation. So I think in this example, the welcome email that acknowledges your past history, right, with the studio. Welcome back again. This is like your 7th episode or something, right? Since you already know our space, here are just a few changes. If you're able to draft a response that sounds that way, so it's essentially different for every customer. Not so much that we are in this pursuit of unique responses, just because, we want them to be unique. I think we want we want you, Reggie, right, to feel as though it is a human being answering, right? Because the reason why we automate is because humans just can't do everything quickly enough, right? But when we do automate it, it kind of doesn't feel like a human, right? So when we talk about the sort of the modern day, sort of the AI-inspired sort of automations, they're capable of that level of sort of auto-responding. And then further to this, you mentioned that there was a Google Drive created. Well, that means that an automation was created to prepare that Google Drive for you, or at least identify the one that has existed, insert that link into their email. So somebody connected the email autoresponder to some sort of a, possibly like an AI agent that creates the folders. And if it sounds sticky for many, probably because it kind of feels like maybe it's like a developer kind of job to go out and connect all these apps. The world we live in today, and even prior to this, there are plenty of tools that allow you to interconnect applications. Like in the old ways, there was like Zapier and Make, right? Today, there are like these agentic solutions like N8N, or you have the MCP type frameworks to kind of connect apps, but it's all intended for humans to use, like for regular people with some basic technical abilities. But that, I just wanted to kind of just give more color to why you felt that good about that email, is because it kind of had that sort of smart, sort of AI-inspired automation to it.
A level of personalization that at scale is hard to do with just automation in itself, like workflow automation, compared to now tying AI into it to add that level of it. I know that I was talking to one of our customers at Vista Social last week, and going through workflows is always interesting to me.
Approval workflows, or
it's just any workflow that they have within, like, for example, their agency. This was an actual agency customer, and they were, client signs up. They're going to start using our services for social media management, for example. So they have a contract that gets sent out, and then they sign it, and then after they sign it and they pay for it, we've got one of our employees that take care of creating an email. In that email, we're going to give them some instructions on how to give us access to their Facebook and to their Instagram. And then another employee is going to go out there and create a content calendar for them and generate this link, and we're going to give it to the client so the client knows this is where you go when your posts are ready to review, give us notes. And then another employee is going to go out there and it's going to actually do the connection on Meta, and it's going to make sure that the Instagram and the Facebook and the TikTok credentials are all there. So these are things that we've had to hire. Let's say at this agency had to hire employees, create systems, create workflows, create training documents so that all these employees are able to plug and play to all this stuff. Now, fast forward, because that's kind of the old school way of doing things. When we were talking about, hey, look, these are some of the things that you could be doing to streamline this entire experience for your client, make things easier for you, be faster. We're now at a place where client signs the agreement, for example, pays for their contract automatically.
And is this done using a tool that anybody can use?
Yeah, this is done with Zapier. Okay. So we set up a Zapier. I think it's like a 3 or 4 stage automation just within Zap, where you select, for example, I think they use Honeybook for their contracts, for their client management. So Honeybook shows that a client's contract is signed, and it automatically triggers the next stage of the automation, which is go into Vista Social, create a workspace for this client. It's going to have the name of the client. It's going to have their time zone, all that stuff. Then it's going to go in and it's going to create an email using their Gmail. And it's going to have the template for the welcome email, but it's also going to capture the content calendar link that Vista Social has for them. And it's going to capture the connecting profiles onboarding flow that we have for the client. So it puts everything together in one place, and it's instantaneous from the second that their client signs. So what used to take several hours for a client to get every step of their onboarding, every document, and every link, and every access is now within 30 seconds of them
How technical
signing.
do you think the person has to be able to set this up? I mean, by the way you're describing it, it sounds like it is difficult, and in some cases it sounds like it's not that difficult. Is this like in the case of Zapier, can anybody learn Zapier as an example?
I think one of the things I love about Zapier is how easy it is for you to go from an idea of an automation to executing it, because they have conversational based automation where you just describe, you type into Zapier, hey, I want when this happens, when a client signs in Honeybook, I want it to automatically create workspace in Vista Social for that client. I want it to then email with this template. It sets up automation for you. It gets every step set up properly. All you really have to do then is just connect, log in with your email, log in with your Vista and your Honeybook, and it takes care of the rest. So it becomes very conversational and makes it easier to set up. Now, obviously, you can go more technical with it, right? Like you can go in, customize each template, you can customize each step, you can add filters so that certain things go and send this email instead of that email. So, there's complexities that you can add. This was a 20-minute call. And at the end of it, I actually created a template, which I didn't even know. You could create templates in Zapier. And now in our knowledge base, our support team, they can just send that to clients who are interested in doing something like that.
That's very cool. So I've actually played with a product called Claude, which is made by Anthropic. So Anthropic is essentially a competitor of OpenAI or Gemini. So literally you install the desktop app almost as you would, I don't know, your Microsoft Word or something. Then in that you get a prompt. If you've used ChatGPT, it's a similar text box. Just ask it anything. As a matter of fact, you can kind of connect it to any AI model you like. So non-techie user installs Claude. There might be like a $10 or something per month subscription to use Claude, but super affordable. But then something really cool happens is that within Claude, you can actually connect your Gmail, your Vista Social, your Honeybook, your anything. And now, instead of even if you talk about Zapier as being like a simple platform to use, it's still a platform that you kind of have to learn. There's a button here, there is an option there, probably a few tutorials to use, right? With Claude, once you got your apps connected, you can literally talk. You can basically say things like, when a new customer is created in Honeybook, send that customer in, and the reason why you can say that is because Honeybook is kind of connected into Claude, right? And then you can say, send them a welcome email that has this information, but maybe grab a few of the details from their sign up in Honeybook. Since it has their Gmail connection, it's going to send that email. And then also, by the way, create their workspace in Vista Social, and maybe even generate 10 post ideas for them to see when they log in for the first time. The amazing thing here is that this is all conversation. So there is absolutely nothing for you to learn except for just express what is it that you want.
Right.
And I found that to be just entirely remarkable. And it's sort of one of those things, like when I saw it, I felt as though something has happened that 95% of the people don't yet know about.
Yeah.
It's already a reality, but it's just the majority of people don't yet kind of know about it, and probably that's going to go on for a while. All the while, the few that do know about this will be that far ahead. And I feel like this has happened with other tech as well, maybe with the crypto or even the social networks. Like there are times when certain brands made a lot of progress on social just because some other brands in their space did not see social as a great sort of vehicle to kind of market themselves. I remember times when I think Barack Obama was like the first president who utilized social media effectively. And that was just a revolution.
Right.
Just because they didn't think of going to social media. And I think our current president, has taken that to another level, specifically the virality of the social media. So point being that there is always this new tech or new ways of doing things, and majority of the people have not yet realized it. But if you are in that few, your success is going to be unexplainable and tremendous.
Yeah. And I think the thing here is that you get left behind, because if you're not doing it, right, like the small amount of people right now who are figuring this stuff out, they're implementing automations for their brand, for their agency. We get to a point, let's say, where I'm ordering pizza again. I've experienced how quickly it is for me to order my pepperoni pizza with pineapples.
Yeah.
And at this point, why would I want to now go on someone's website to order pizza and go through the 5-minute step until I'm finally at checkout and put in my credit card? Why would I want to make a phone call to a company to install my EV charger when it was all AI based the first time I had
with
to do
another
it?
vendor or something?
Yeah. If you're not automating now, you're gonna get left behind quickly.
I think just the whole idea of sort of automating stuff, it just sort of sounds complex, but I think the reality of it is that with the use of AI, and I think a lot of people now hearing the word AI agents, again, I think sometimes the tech doesn't do justice to how simple it is by kind of creating these names that sort of sound complex. AI agents. That sounds complex, right? But all that really means is that an app is connected to AI, and you can essentially talk to it. Hey, Vista Social, schedule me a post. Instead of logging into Vista Social, clicking on the compose button, and then obviously, if you think about how can I possibly automate my, say, Vista Social post creation. The old school thinking might be, hey, I'm just going to like create a spreadsheet, upload a spreadsheet, and just create a bunch of posts automatically or something. And then you might think, oh, that's really not automating, still a lot of work, right? I think that's the sort of the paradigm that I think we've been at, that we can sort of automate the actual tools, right, by using the tools. But not a lot of tools are susceptible to automation. A lot of tools, they have to be used manually. Like when you think of Gmail, right, you're not really thinking, oh, how can I automatically send an email? Oh, maybe I need to use like Constant Contact or something. Like you're still kind of thinking of tools to use, right? But I think today's reality is that AI offers you a way to simply talk what you need, which is entirely mind-blowing. Like really, the first time I ran Claude with my Gmail and AI with Social Report connected, my first test was I emailed myself a message, and then I asked ChatGPT, create a post based on this email that you received on that day from this person. It looked at my Gmail, it found my email, and it just created the post. And I said, I think like I added post on Facebook.
Wow.
And the sky is the limit. You can say, you can basically talk to it things like, how much content do I have scheduled, or has such and such, commented on my post, has such and such collaborator, accepted my collab. And if not, send them a reminder email. Can you just imagine, like in the collab example, and I think we spoke about it like, a few days ago, if your business is, let's say, sending collabs and paying for collabs on Instagram, right? And then you have to kind of like track who accepted collabs and who didn't. Fine. Within Vista Social, there is a report. You can go in and kind of see who accepted or not, right? But then you take that data and you have to like follow up with every person, right? That's like a great example of automating something, right? Hook it up into a place like Claude, for example, and just tell Claude, hey, if a collaborator has not accepted a collab within like 72 hours, please send them a reminder email. You know what I mean? Like, so just think of the I think we have a client, when we were building our collab tracking, I think we had a client, the user within Vista, who had like several hundred collabs kind of going on at any given time. Yeah. Just think of the sheer time that it would take to track each one, send them a reminder that they need to do it, maybe then connect it to some sort of a billing system to, I guess, not pay the bill or something, or, request a credit.
Imagine the workforce required to do that stuff manually.
Yeah,
you go back even a year or two, right?
Yeah.
Like that.
But there are teams that are doing this manually today.
Right now. Yep.
But today there exists a way kind of not to do this manually. And that's kind of what I'm saying, the 95% is unaware.
Yeah.
Is because I think folks are really unaware. I'm included. Like up until last week, I did not know that such possibilities existed. To me, AI was, you go to ChatGPT and you kind of ask it for a joke or a paraphrase, or you ask it a question. Not anymore. So you're right in a sense, like AI cannot send emails. AI cannot open AI. Like for example, ChatGPT does not know how to send an email. ChatGPT does not know how to schedule a post in Vista Social, right? It can create a post for you. It can paraphrase things. It can ensure the brand voice, things like that. But it cannot contact the apps. Right. But now it can. With like Claude, for example, you can actually contact the apps. And it just was truly mind-blowing. And I think it opens up so much sort of opportunity for scary too opportunity, I feel like, because to some extent it's unclear what the role for humans is down the line, how many apps will no longer be necessary.
I had a friend, so he's always at the forefront of this sort of stuff. And we were trying to collaborate on figuring out, okay, when are we going to get together? I hadn't seen him in a few years. Let's get together. Let's get some lunch. I want to talk to him about a business that he's launching. And I think after a couple hours, we like, okay, Friday at 2. I'm like, okay, great. I get an email, I get a text message. Hey, this is, I'll just say, I'm not going to say his name, but this is his assistant confirming the time for 12 p.m. Here's the address, this and this. So I messaged him. I'm like, hey,
since when?
Did you hire an assistant? Like, no, it's, I got an AI agent that is linked to my email. It's linked to my text messages. I think he set up a separate phone number for it. And it's linked to his calendar. So it knows. So I respond to his text message, right? His assistant text message, hey, can I change it to Monday? He's like, oh, unfortunately, he's got a meeting on Monday at 2, the time that you wanted, but 3:30 works. So is that okay for you? And so he's he definitely has now a personal assistant that can help to facilitate personal work. So as like a business owner, as a leader in an organization where time is also precious, and maybe you don't have a budget for a personal assistant, you can have an AI agent that's tied into those tools, which are your day-to-day, your Calendly, your Google Calendar, your Gmail. You can give it a phone number, I guess, nowadays. Yeah. And it just helps you run your time a lot better.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll actually, by the time this sort of episode goes live, I'll try to record a demo of this sort of conversational automation,
Yeah.
where you can really tell AI, because I think a lot of people are aware that automations are possible, even the one that you were describing. But I think some of them are, if not a lot of them, are probably fearful of the complexity sort of in creating that. Zapier, Make, or all these tools, connecting tools, it sort of frightens people.
Yeah.
But I'll record a demo and provide a
Claude
link
thing?
here to just to showcase how it's just conversation. So once you've connected that calendar, once you've connected that messenger or email or phone service, which are just part of the library, like it's click,
so they've
connect,
got a
like they already
marketplace?
have like a marketplace of
Oh, that's
their
cool.
different apps, right? And then you simply just speak to it. I would love you, to kind of respond and be,
Wow. See, I didn't even realize that. I know that with OpenAI, like a lot of that stuff is possible, but you've got to tie it into a third-party tool. If you wanted to, draft an email to do this, you've got to tie it into a tool by using something like N8N or Zapier to do the. OpenAI will do the thinking and the drafting, but the tool work.
And I've looked at those, and those tools are not difficult for some, but impossible for most. I would say they're just too techy. N8N is amazing, but it's just very techy. I think ultimately that sort of is to sort of summarize. I think everybody should be looking to automate and just be ambitious, and you'll be about what you want to automate. Way beyond kind of like the current understanding, like of hey, I can like automate auto replies or something. I can automate auto replies and have it reply with like a specifics of that user, things like that. So I think like if you just think that way, you'll discover so many more opportunities to sort of create automations. And that's really what's going to distinguish the more successful brands and agencies out there in the next few years, are the ones that you can just do. Just the sheer volume of things they can do is a lot larger, but also the type of work that they do is, while automated, still creates a very sort of personal feel for the users. Even if the users are suspecting that the stuff is automated, it's still way too personal for them to care.
Yeah.
Like, do I
Provides
really
value.
care if you use an automation to invite me to the studio, if automation clearly understands my experience here, if automation clearly understands that I'm coming from that location or this location, clearly knows how many episodes I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Like, do I really care if it's on point? I guess some of the old ways of automating has always been kind of were lacking that sort of, they were too generic sometimes, and you kind of like shrugged your shoulders and kind of just skipped over paragraph just because it was irrelevant. But I think these automations have the potential of even being way better than human beings at taking into the account the details or the specifics of the situation.
It comes out to providing value. If an automation isn't just providing value to you as the person who needs to automate the thing, but also provides value to your customer or to your colleague or whoever it is that's on the other side of that automation. And I think that's really what the AI is helpful now with, is the context, the tying to other tools, other areas of your life to be able to provide value to the person on the other end as well, which, could have been an email. I could have written it, but now it's 10 times more valuable because of all the other context that's in there.
Right.
So that's awesome. I guess a challenge to any business owner or agency that's watching this episode is find the most complicated workflow, most complicated task that you do that you probably think this is impossible.
Yourself. Yeah, and challenge yourself to automate it. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in for this episode this week. Make sure to check us out, vistasocial.com/podcast. If you have any ideas or if you want to come hang out with us here in Miami for another episode, make sure to reach out to us. Have a good one.